For Pride Month, I wanted to do some crochet kits that I guess were sparkly and interesting. So I got this Woobles kit for Reginald the Peacock, and I really want to try and make this before the month is over. Hopefully, I gotten skilled enough that I will finish it. And it says it's for beginners, so hopefully I'll be able to. Let's see what's inside. Oh, it has like a peacock sparkly yarn, the green. These are really pretty. Look at this all. It's like a golden and kind of like a beige glitter, silver glitter yarn. Comes with wee woobly bits, also the card so that you can download the digital instructions. I had opened this already, so I have the printed uh, instructions for the pattern, so that way I don't have to refer to my laptop. Also, I like having the physical thing for future reference. Oh, and lastly, they have also this blue glitter yarn. These are really pretty, really nice. Oh, and there's also additional white glitter yarn, the stuffing, and a purple hook that says Reginald on it. Pretty neat. Yeah, I don't have a purple hook, I think. So yeah, my crochet hook collection expands. So for this part of the video, I'm gonna work on Reginald the Peacock with a tension that's kind of medium tight. I just worked on Billy the Unicorn with very tight tension. And at the end of this video, I'll kind of show the differences between being super tight and somewhat tight with this one, but not like, pulling on the hook and kind of like almost tight, like you're tying a knot. So we'll see how Reginald comes out. And I already made uh, the Gertrude the Llama with super loose tension. So at the end of this video, also I'll kind of like show the three differences because yeah, I think I'm still figuring out how to do tension, and hopefully this video is helpful for you to see how super tight, medium tight, and normal-ish tension. I have no idea how to gauge it, but yeah, here we go. So I'm going to get started with working on Reginald by getting the yarn here. So Reginald does come with pre-started yarn. You can see like the three places where you're supposed to crochet into for the magic loop. I'm trying to learn how to do magic circles, so I'm going to undo these and just try and create it for myself. I'm going to try and just, here we go. Yeah, there's so many videos online on how to do a magic circle, so I just try and show like how my tension is when I first start. I like to put my middle finger on the first loop so it doesn't kind of like slip, and then you yarn over and pull that in. Again, I think it calls for 6 magic loops. A lot of patterns do. There's 1, 2, 3. It looks like it's keeping consistent with the size. 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I'm gonna pull on this. Oh, there we go. Circle is closed. See that? The Wooble site has that whole tutorial video as well, but there's also a lot of them on YouTube, so this is not like a secret pattern that I'm showing. So just to kind of like show initially like how my tension is, like you can see like I'm not like making it super tight. I'm just kind of like, letting it, you know, be guided. I'm just gonna do another loop here, yarn over, or wait, I did a yarn under. That was like, all right. So you see like that I just have them the same size as the hook, and I'm not really like pressing really hard on the tension here. I'm just letting it slide off. And then I'm going into the next one here. Yarn over, and you can see like the size of the loops there. Still kind of trying to keep it the same size as the hook, tightening it even more, and the hooks look pretty tight. Also, the yarn is very resistant to pulling it, so it seems like that might help avoid it being pulled in other rounds to make holes appear. All right, so I've progressed enough to get up to here with the with Reginald, and you can kind of see like the kind of tension how it's been resulting in. So I'm gonna do a couple more stitches so you can see like how my tension is going. So what I've realized is that I'm kind of just like holding the yarn so that it doesn't slip. So I'm not actually like pulling it this tight. Like that's how I was doing Billy the Unicorn, which I'll show a little bit later in the video. But just kind of like keeping it so it doesn't kind of slide off my finger, and just kind of like letting it go and through that. So, and I'll just do a couple more stitches here so you can see. So it's kind of like not like extremely tight. As you can see, I can kind of do this to it, but and I'm also pinching like this right here so that it doesn't stretch any further. See that there, and yeah. So sometimes I'll undo it because I feel like this loop gets bigger for some reason, and I'll just like cinch it back up, and then go under, pull, and then I pinch the loop that's in the front. So well, I guess it still kind of like pulls and makes that hole. Eh, I mean, not all of them are doing that, so maybe I need to like try a different approach here. Let me see. Can I retry it? So I go in, and then I'm pulling this over, the loop here. Yeah, the hole's kind of a little bit smaller there, but yeah, I'm not like making it too tight that I'm almost creating a knot with it. Yeah, I think the medium tension approach is the way to go, but maybe I need a smaller hook for this. But so far, so good, I think, because if you can see, like it's not really a lot of big holes in there either. So it just also depends on like the previous round. If I made it too loose, then it'll also be more to pull. So that's also one thing. And let me just see with the decrease here what happens. Yeah, the decrease doesn't have like a hole in it, so that looks good. I should probably undo these because I wasn't. This is not following the pattern, so I think I kind of figured out why I'm getting these holes that you can kind of see down here. Um, they do describe it in the Woobles tutorial, but I didn't notice exactly what they meant until now. So one way to like avoid getting holes in your pattern and making them look smaller or more flush with uh, your amigurumi is to make sure that the second loop that you pull in is the same height as this loop. So you'll see the loop that I have right here. I'm just making sure that it's the same width as the end of this hook. And then I'm going to put it in the next loop. And while there, I'm going to yarn over and pull. So you have both loops here, kind of comes out on the side. But one thing that I started doing is you'll see like right there, it starts to pull like a hole. So you'll see like the second part here. So you just kind of tug it a little bit until it's the same height as the this loop here. So this needs to be the same height, not the same length. And you'll see that the hole kind of looks, if I was to make it smaller, then the hole would, basically get opened up. But since I'm making it the same height, then you can see that's the same height, and then I'm gonna like pinch this here so that I don't accidentally uh, pull the second loop any further. We yarn over and pull it through, and it kind of just like pull it up and over, and then I make sure that the loop is back on here. You'll see like now it's closed, there's no hole there. So I'm just going to do a couple more single crochets so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm pulling it up, then pulling it forward there, and then making sure that the loop is uh, same width as the hook. Going again, yarn over, pull forward, then pull it up so that it's like a upward. You see there's like a hole forming there, so I need to like tug it a little bit more. And now that it's the same height, sometimes you might just like, wiggle your thumb on it to get it back because this yarn is a little bit coarse. But yeah, now I have this the same height. I pinch, yarn over, and pull through both loops. And now there's no hole. So I only realized that in the previous round. So that's why you'll see like I don't really have that many holes there. But below, I was kind of not making it the same height because I saw a video that said, oh, you should not make the second loop the second loop should be shorter than your first loop that's on the hook, but that's not right. The Woobles tutorials does show this, but I didn't realize that it wasn't just tension, it was also the size of the second loop that I was pulling in. And that basically, and you'll see it kind of sometimes in the back, it'll kind of like bunch up, but I think when you pull it up, you just have it kind of like vertical there to the pattern, and you just kind of look. If you see a hole, you can kind of adjust it a little bit with your thumb and make sure it's covered. But yeah, once you have it the same height, yarn over, have it pinched, and there you go. Now it's not going to have that hole in there. But I make sure that before I start the next loop, that the working yarn is as big as the widest part of your hook. So yeah, I think that is what I was doing wrong, and we'll see how I did Gertrude the Llama, which I was being too loose. But this tension is mostly, I think, to keep the working yarn on your hook, make sure it's the same size as your hook. Before you go in, you yarn over, pull it, and then kind of put them both on the same width of the hook, and then you kind of pull it and tug it a little bit, and evaluate, oh, I see this is pulling on the loop, so I need to make it a little bit looser. And now it's not pulling on the loop, so I pinch and pull it through both loops. Yeah, so yeah, just play around with that, and hopefully this is helpful because I just realized this today, and I made how many kits have I made? I made over like 6 or 7 of the Woobles kits, and I didn't realize that part of like, it should be the same height as your hook, or the same size, but the second loop here also needs to be matching the height, not just being tight down here, because that's actually what's pulling your hook. And I think it makes your amigurumi a little bit bigger because the boxes were saying this could be about 4.75 inches. But the way that I was doing it, like even down here, I think it was going to be even smaller because of the tension I was doing. So tighter tension, even with the holes, it might make your amigurumi smaller. And yeah, I'll show how I did that with the Billy the Unicorn, and we can compare the holes. All right, so we're here now at the last phase to assemble all of these Woobles kits. I have Gertrude here where I just need to assemble the muzzle for the face and the ears and the feet. This one I did with lighter tension and the holes are pretty big. So I think I learned a lot from this, but the puffs as a result of the lighter tension didn't really puff out. that much. So yeah, I did do too light of tension for this one because I was just kind of like not even making it tight. But I'm gonna assemble these. We'll see how it looks at the end. Uh, Next, I have Billy the unicorn. This one I did with super tight tension, but as I was getting down around its face in the below part, the super tight tension started creating holes here. So that's when I started to do a little bit different tension approach when I got to the next one here, Reginald. But for Billy, we just need to finish the mane for the hair, and this is the hair in the front that goes like right here. And I also have the two ears and the horn that we got to put on him. Lastly, we have Reginald, which I did like medium tension style. I think this one is the best that came out. I really like how the head came out. As I went down to the body, I started doing a little bit looser tension, and that ended up. I mean, it still came out pretty great, but I should have adjusted the tension a little bit because as it got to the bottom, there's the hole started to appear. But before that, I think I found like the magic middle point for tension, so I just need to keep that in practice. With Reginald, I just need to assemble the tail feathers. There's three of them. Is two wings that'll go on the side, and we have a beak that'll go on here. And yeah, let's see how they turn out once they're assembled.
So putting this in order of the tension from like the tightest tension I could do with this unicorn was like very, very tight, and I also made the unicorn smaller, but it looks a little bit better than the super loose one that I did with the llama. So this is Gertrude, did really super loose tension, basically just kind of like making it super soft. I don't think I was making the second loop the same height as the loop that's already on the hook. So that might have accounted for why these puffs don't puff out. But regardless, though, I think either I skipped a row, maybe I did actually, because there's some puffs missing here. That's probably why it's not that tall. But anyways, as you can see here, I did really loose tension and it created holes everywhere. So I wasn't really like keeping it a little bit tight. So this is one with a loose tension. And then I tried to do a medium tension with Reginald. And as you can see, I was doing the medium tension all throughout. And then I tried to loosen the tension a little bit when I got to the bottom here, and the holes started to appear again. So I think the medium tension was actually the way to go. So I'm going to be creating the rainbow version of Gertrude so that I can try it with the medium tension all throughout and see if it looks great. Because I'm almost there. I think I'm almost getting there with the tension. And yeah, Reginald's was a little bit interesting to assemble because it had the wings and the three parts of its tail in the back, another wing, little feet, its beak. The eyes were interesting. Though putting on the eyes, um, it was very tight and very hard to put the white line behind the eye to like kind of like sneak it in. So I'm not sure how they did that. Maybe they did the white part before they closed in the eye, but yeah. Otherwise, aside from that, though, I'm very proud how this came out. This is really cute and it came out pretty nice. So yeah, from this is let's see how I put this in here. Yeah, so from like super loose tension and from a little bit medium tight tension, but then I started getting a little bit loose on the bottom here, so that's why you see he's a little bit bottom heavy there. This one was just super tight tension all throughout. So yeah, the was my experiment, and my next one I'm going to do the medium tension uh, and maybe a little bit tighter to see how that works out. So stay tuned for the next video.